Okay. Oh, fuck. Oh my god, I still have this stuff from the thumbnail on. Holy. Okay, here we go. Welcome one, welcome all. Hopefully everyone's doing well. My name is King Bry. It's very nice to meet you all. This is Monami Starling on the screen right here. For you guys that are part of the uninitiated, I do a lot of tech streams. I do a lot of chatting whenever I'm free, which is usually once per week, Fridays, Saturdays. Low-key was debating on like not doing anything this week because, you know, I've been very busy. I had like a lot of school stuff going on, and it's just been fucking like this is I've literally been feeling this for like the past, you know, 5 days. So you could probably tell that I'm pretty kind of tired, but yeah. I decided I had a couple of ideas that I want to do that will be postponed to like next week and the weeks after, but today we're just going to be focusing on a couple of things. So let me just get VS Code open. It really depends on as to like what I'm going to do first and second, because like either I'm just going to be, you know, coding something, or I'm going to be making some new stuff. So let's open this up real quick. Give me 1 second. If anyone likes to say hi, anyone likes to say hello, then feel free to let me know. Anyone got any questions for me about the week? But yeah, one thing. Let me just find this damn window. God damn it, man. Hey, Zero X, how you doing tonight? Hopefully everything's good. I'm just trying to sort out my windows right now. As you know, my streams are always freaking full of scuff. So, yeah, I'm just moving everything. Even though I set up everything early today, it's just like, you know what? Fuck it. We're gonna still have everything scattered around. Can never have too many windows or tabs. Yeah, I mean, I've always have too many, man. I even closed out everything for today. It's just the crazy part. I should probably show you guys how I do my stream at some point, because like it's pretty interesting. But for now, and now it's showing my Twitch, but let me just open up. We're gonna look at this first. Go to working. Yeah, this is the interview we're gonna look at. We're gonna talk about this in a second. I'm just gonna open VS Code first, because we're gonna just draft out the plan. I feel like one thing we could do for like every stream now is just draft out like what the plan will be for the stream, so that you guys are never like off focus. Primetime Agent, yeah, he's great. I'll talk about him in a bit. But I wonder if you guys are also, there is an ad break coming up in like 3 minutes. Twitch likes putting one like the first 5 minutes, so yeah, we're just gonna be yapping for 3 minutes until that's up. All right. So first things first, we're gonna, well, let's put this in bullets. We're gonna look at the Primogen plus DHH interview, and we're gonna be looking at a specific section. Open source, democracy, or meritocracy. And then the next one is, we'll see if we can do it. And the next one is building a React app, or sorry, building a single page website, so SPW, for my socials, or etc. So socials, sorry, Monami socials, not mine. My socials are on my website, kingbride.dev. If you guys want to ever know about what those are, they're the same thing. But the reason why I say Monami socials is because, you know, she, you know, is my VTuber, right? So all of the VTuber related stuff goes there, whereas my own stuff goes in like my own page. It's just like a whole split type of thing. How I run things, I don't know if you guys would get confused. Probably would, to be honest. But yeah. And then the third thing, if we have time, I don't think we'll have time because I started like 30 minutes late, but Zero X did forward an article. Let me see what it is. Yeah, the MetaConnect opening keynote. So yeah, thank you for suggesting that, by the way. We'll either take a look at it at the end, or we can just take a look at it next week, because I don't care either way. Next week's plan, right, because I'm no longer having hell at school. So next week, we're going to talk about sleep. And we're going to talk about e-readers. And then we can also talk about any other tech news that happened at the time. The Meta thing will be, yeah, that's what I'm thinking, right? I know Meta Connect is always long. I have like 2 Meta headsets. I have a Quest 2 and a Quest 3 personally, so I really like Meta stuff. It's pretty cool. But yeah, it definitely will. It will definitely be long. I agree with you there. Anyways, let me move the ad. There we go. Now I can see you guys better. I don't know why I didn't do this before. I could just put the info here and the ads here. Wow, okay. You see, OBS fucking sucks. Everyone, well, not really. I mean, OBS can sometimes suck. All right, guys. All right, so I can see that we have an ad break already. So I'm going to run it right now. We'll get that shit out of the way so Twitch can stop yelling at us, and then we'll be good to go. All right, see you guys in a minute. Okay, there we go. So let's run that stupid-ass ad break. Get that nonsense out of the way. I know, like, this time of night, usually I stream on Fridays. Because, like, you know, Friday is a good time to stream, but I actually did a lot of stuff on Friday. I guess when the ads come back, I could tell you guys about what it is. But, yeah, I did a ton of stuff on Friday with my friends, and it was great. I really enjoyed it. And I'm very glad that, you know, I'm able to hang out. I have the time to do so, despite being in fucking medical school for all places. So, yeah. At least in the clinical years, it gets easier. Because, like, rather than studying all day for, like, some stupid-ass exam like I did, you're more so doing work, but you're also studying. But it's more structured, right? Everybody has a Monday through Friday work week for the most part. And then the weekend, you have whatever the fuck else you want to do. So it's really nice. It's really nice. One thing, that's like the one positive thing about school is that, you know, you still have time to yourself. Versus, like, actually working, you have, like, no time to yourself. You guys get what I'm saying. But yeah, again, for those that are on Twitch, you guys are seeing an ad right now. I'm very sorry. That's how Twitch works. I'm working on getting YouTube working, but again, I need time. I need a ton of time, so yeah. Hey, Kyochan, how you doing? I know you need to... I know you're probably going to pop out in a bit because you got things to do, but hopefully you're doing well, man. What's up, man? Just wait for this stupid ad break to finish. Okay. There we go. Thank you, ad break. Fuck you. All right. So, let's talk about the thing that has been burning my pocket, figuratively, for the past... What is it? For the past, you know, week. Eating dinner. Yeah, gotcha. So, let's talk about what's been burning my brain for my pocket for the past week. This thing right here. This interview. Right? So, let's first explain who these guys are, because we have a bunch of random names. We have the Prime Time, we have DHH. Who the hell are we? We have these random ass faces on the screen. Who are they? Right? Now, for those not initiated into tech, let me just explain who these people are. Switch back to code here. So, DHH, or let me just see his real name here. If it can let me, sir. David Hennemeyer Hansen is the creator of many things. So he's basically one of the big names in the tech community, and that's why I really like his stuff. So Railsman, yeah, he created the one thing that people still use Ruby for is Ruby on Rails. And what this is a backend server-side framework. It's a web framework, basically. And the reason why people use Ruby, he outlines this in the interview with Prime. The main reason Ruby is used is because of its very esoteric syntax and straightforward programming approach. Of course, there are more ways to do things that are more contemporary, like JavaScript, but Ruby on Rails really holds a special place in the community's heart. And DHH is the guy who created it. He also created Basecamp, I believe. And he created... What is it? He created, nowadays, a bunch of Linux forks. Or Linux distros. So he made Omakub and Omarchy. Those are the things he's currently popular for, right? So if you guys don't know, Omarchy is like... These are opinionated Linux distros that are optimized for developing and just basic usage to make like Linux as convenient as possible, which I really applaud because it is not convenient. I apologize to all the Linux chads in chat. It's not convenient for your average user. And that using Arch as well for Omarchy is insane. Now, you get used... Exactly. Like, you have to get used to it. That's the thing. And for me personally, I use Windows. Everyone's gonna hate me. Microsoft sucks. Oh god, it's terrible. But it works for me and I can play whatever game I want, so I'm happy. My daily driver is a Mac, so that's probably way better for coding than a Microsoft. What is Linux? Kyochon asked a good question. What is Linux? Well, actually, it's GNU slash... No, I'm kidding. That's what Linux distros always have... Linux people always like to say. So Linux... Let's actually start with this. So right now, your computer is running something called an operating system. You probably heard something called an OS, right? I'd just like to interject for a moment. What you're referring to is Linux is in fact GNU Linux, or as I've recently taken to calling it, GNU plus Linux. Blah, 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 blah. Jesus Christ. All right, anyways, to answer Kyo's question, let's talk about an OS or an operating system. This is basically something like Windows and Mac, right? These are the two most popular operating systems. And it's what you usually see to run all your apps, to run all your work, save all your files. Basically, everything is done on an OS. And most people have these two. But the problem is, these are proprietary. Right? So, which means proprietary meaning that owned by a company. And not open to the public. You can get the software, right? You can get the license, that's possible, but you can't inspect the internals. You can't tune it to the way you want to without like reverse engineering and stuff. And even then, you might not know how some utilities are made. So Windows and Mac, these are all proprietary. And this was the thing really in like the 1990s, 80s, back when computing really started blowing up. Now, the problem is, we're developers. We like hacking. We like tinkering. We like making stuff that's for our own and not owned by some company, right? So this is where Linux came in. A programmer named Linus Torvalds, for those of you who don't know, this is a pretty big name in computing. He made a ton of things, but let's talk about Linux for now. So he's like, you know what? Fuck it. I make my own thing. He makes something called the Linux kernel. And again, a kernel is just a piece of software that allows your hardware to interface with the software. So like your mouse, for example. So your mouse is interfacing with your operating system through the kernel. Just as a bit of background. But he made the Linux kernel, which is essentially the core of the operating system. And Linux is essentially this. It is just the kernel. Everything on top of it, like a desktop, applications, I don't know, games, and etc., are all just extra parts on top of Linux. So this is, you know, extra stuff, and Linux is just Linux. But what we refer to as Linux nowadays is essentially all of these together, if that makes sense. It's like all the components of an operating system. And the big thing about Linux is that it's open source, meaning that you can dive into the code of any Linux distribution. So like Ubuntu, Debian, Arch, Fedora. You can dive into the code of any of these and edit it and make it your own. That's how beautiful it is. So you can make security-focused Linux, for example, like Tails OS or Nix OS. Or, I mean, Nix is pretty secure, I'm not gonna lie. SUSE is nice too. Yeah, SUSE is nice too. There's also Amogus. That's another one. But yeah, so that's Linux in a nutshell. If you guys, you know, ever want. So it's basically the open alternative to Windows or Mac. And the reason why people want to use it is because... Thanks for explaining. Of course, Kyo, I'm happy to help. But yeah, the people don't want to use it is because... I'm sorry, people want to use it is because people want to get away from the money-grubbing companies and the unexplainable errors and the stupid shit that's going on. I saw that in chat, by the way. But yeah, that's why Linux is becoming so popular. And people are like, when are we getting a good Linux desktop that people can just switch to outright? Because... Of course, most software is made for Windows because it's the largest market share. But if Linux becomes the largest market share, then more software will be made for Linux natively. And that's like the overall dilemma. Windows, it crashes, says nonsense 324 error, and tells you to find an administrator to help. Linux yells at you with angry, sensible reasoning and tells you to fix it yourself. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Every year is the year of the Linux desktop. Never. Yeah. Everyone says year of the Linux desktop. I think a lot of people are like very angry with the new Mac release, if you guys don't know. We'll look at the interview in a bit, but we're going on a tangent here. You guys know my stream. We love going on tangents. Anyways, so... Oh god, it's in dark mode. I think you guys should make better. But yeah, a lot of people hate the new Mac OS. Personally, I don't. I like the liquid glass look. I like the look of the new stuff. That's just me though. But yeah, a lot of people are belly aching. A lot of people hate it. Just the average Apple OS release cycle. And people are talking about Omarchy now because they're like, oh my god, it's just straightforward Linux desktop. It's so nice. It's so easy. And that is really what DHH is all about from what I've seen. It's like making stuff convenient. And I really resonate with that because I like to, you know, make things my own way and make it more straightforward to set up stuff. Not like immaculately convenient, right? But where you need some elbow grease because, you know, the concepts are elbow greasy. And that's a new word I invented, by the way. But yeah, it's more so just me thinking outside the box, I feel. And sometimes lightning hits the bottle, sometimes it doesn't. Add it, Oxford. Oh my god, Oxford's in a bit of a tizzy right now, so we're all good. Okay, but yeah, hopefully that explains what Linux is to the uninitiated for the stream. I know a lot of the people on the stream right now are tech people, but yeah. Glass designs the KDE 415. Yeah, I mean, I personally like things being separated into their own stuff. I'll probably, if you guys want, I could talk about what I like about the new glass look. I've talked about in a previous stream, like why I like the new UI versus, you know, what was previously there. For example, you know, floating tab bars in applications or more enclosed areas. Things are more obvious, more visible. And again, it really brings the conspiracy together that Apple is planning something related to AR. And they're trying to unify their entire design language around it because AR is definitely the next big thing in mobile computing. I think so, at least. Not VR, AR, so like glasses and stuff. Sorry. Need to get a quick drink. But yeah, you guys just let me know if you think that's true, but that's what I believe. And also, I saw this like from Forrest and I on Twitter, so yeah, I think he makes sense with that type of stuff. But yeah. Hooks up with the meta connectivity. Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. But let's look at the interview here. So again, let's go back to DHH. David Heinemeier Hansen has a lot of controversial takes, but we're not talking about that together. We're just talking about his tech. And he made a bunch of stuff that's just foundational in the tech community. So he's a big name. Now, the Primogen is an amazing streamer, right? Amazing tech streamer who knows a lot about programming. He's ex-Netflix. And he does like a lot of videos, reacts to different programming articles, things like that. Yeah, ex-Netflix, that's what I said. I think he left recently. I don't know what the fuck he's doing. But yeah, he is just very good programming creator. He actually inspired me to do these types of streams where I just yap about programming stuff because there's a market for it. People think it's cool. I used to just do it by myself in like a Discord voice call with a bunch of people. Yeah, exactly. We do streaming. Yes, thank you for that. Okay, so what we're going to do is there is a segment called Open Source, but they messed up the title here. Open source isn't a community or democracy, it's a gift exchange. Okay, so we're going to react to this. And just for some background, I am an open source developer. So if you guys want to go to my GitHub, it's just github.com, kingbry1. That's me, right? So I make a ton of shit. As you can see, it's been kind of sparse now because of work, but you can see my commit history is huge. And I have a ton of applications that I work on. And my most popular application is Tabby API, a AI LLM server for running all of your LLMs on GPU. It's very popular. A lot of people use it. I don't know why the fuck people use my code, but they do. So yeah, I talk about this all the time. I sometimes code it on stream. But yes, I am very experienced now with maintaining an open source project. And this is why I decided like, hey, I want to watch this interview and it looks freaking cool. So we're going to react to it right now. Hopefully you guys are ready to see some really interesting takes, but we'll get through it. Okay, let me see what Mephi says. AR has annoying controls, pretty cool. Having both XR glasses, not real AR in Quest 3, it's fun. I wish for an AR VR working space over a decade. Free 3+ monitors anywhere, simply floating windows. Sign me in. Yeah, dude, that's gonna be sick. Like, it saves the cost on hardware, but you really need something that isn't terrible on your eyes, like VR, because it's really bad for the head in terms of, like, weight and just, like, having that, you know, focused thing rather than just, like, having it passively through glasses or something. But I'll give my AR takes later. Let's look at this interview, though. Hey, Nemo. What's up? Welcome to the stream. Feel free to lurk. I know you're tired. All All right, let's see this. Let me just turn off the music. Sorry, guys. And let me know if the audio is too loud or too soft because we're going to be pausing a lot, okay? And if you have any thoughts or anything, just feel free to shout them in the chat. I don't really need to tell you that. Okay.
Yeah, speaking of open source, something that I really
Can you guys... it's not that loud enough. Hold on.
With from your writing is talking about how
How's this?
open source isn't a
Is this good? Hair quiet? Okay. I'll bring it up.
community or a democracy, right?
Better?
It's a gift
All right,
exchange.
Sweet. Okay, so let's go back. All right. Start now.
Yeah, speaking of open source, something that I really resonated with from your writing is talking about how open source isn't a community or a democracy, right? It's a gift exchange. I don't know if you want to sort of elaborate on that idea, because so I'm a core maintainer of NeoVim. I wrote Telescope and a bunch of other stuff. So like, I definitely, when I read that, I was like, yes, give it up for DHH on that one. NeoVim, by the way, yes, chat. I know you're already going to spam it. That's fine, but go ahead, take us away on sort of that aspect.
Okay, so before we start, he said the following words, right? Teach Dev, he's another person on Prime's channel. Open source isn't a community or democracy, it's a gift exchange. Anyone want to tell me like why that's a statement that he wrote? Like what you can predict? What I personally predict is that it's not essentially, you know, it's just open source is just a bunch of people working together, right? And they're just they're just exchanging pieces of code and ideas. That's all it is. And it's not like a unified thing. That's what I personally think. Let me know what you guys think in the chat, but I'm going to continue playing. And I'll pause and read if you guys want to say.
Yeah, so what's really interesting about open source is it has sort of the shape and the outline of something that seems democratic, which is a fundamental mistake of analysis. It's not democratic at all. It is meritocratic. It is absolutely that. Now, that also went through a phase. That word, meritocratic, went to a phase where it was in the doghouse for about 5 years or something. I think it's safe to take it out of the doghouse now. Meritocratic processes are good. And merit in open source is about as pure of a distillation of merit as I've seen anywhere. Like you go into corporate and like, you know what? Companies try to be meritocratic, but there's also about 500 other concerns that weigh on why your career goes the way it does. And it's not always just the smartest, most capable person that gets ahead. In open source, it's kind of mostly is. The person who shows up and does most of the work in the best way possible typically ends up having the most say, and that's good. It's not democratic. It's not like everyone sits around in the circle and like, let's vote who should get the say on where this project goes. And then they fucking pick Joe because Joe's really good at advocating for a platform. Fuck Joe. Joe's not going to have anything to say unless Joe is the person writing the goddamn code. Like, that's actually what you want. You want the most capable, competent people who are doing the goddamn work to set the direction.
Okay, let's pause there. Let me get my iPad out. But while I'm doing that, what he basically said, I agree with it as well. ZeroX also said so. But yeah, I agree with a lot of what he said right now, because usually when it comes to open source, there are these things called contributors, right? And there are a lot of contributors to Tabby. You can see on the right side here. I'm gonna just open it up here. If it gets me the data, of course. But yeah, there are a lot of contributors in an open source project. And usually there's one big guy, right? One big person. You can see I've made 792 commits to my own repository. And a bunch of other people have made smaller amounts. But you can see that there is a person who has a bigger pull in the sphere because, you know, I've done the most work. So I'm the one who's maintaining the piece of software in addition to all of the other people that are making a decent amount of commits and changes. Right. So let me pull up my iPad here because this is pretty important as to what he's saying. Let me illustrate it for you guys. Okay. If it lets me connect, that would be amazing. Sweet. Okay. There we go. So let's illustrate it. So this is a democracy in DHH's sense, right? So a democracy, there are, okay, there we go. Turn on music, sorry. There are about, like, let's just say 16 members. They're all equal. Everyone is equally represented. So we have, let's just say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Make this 8, actually. Let's make this 10, just for brevity's sake. All right, so all of these guys are around the round table. And then all 10 members, they vote for a lead. Right, so they vote for a lead, and the lead can be any one of these members. Even if 4, let's just say, contributed about, like, even though 4, let's just say, contributed about 70% to the project, 5 might have contributed, like, the other 20%. So you vote for the lead, and for some reason, the lead is number 3. Because, you know, they have their reasons. So basically, the lead here is the third person, even though numbers 4 and 5 have contributed way more to the project as a whole. Now let's take this circle. And again, I'm not trying to argue like general politics here. I'm just trying to explain what DHH is trying to talk about. So now we have a meritocracy. So this is a meritocracy. So now we have 4 and 5 still contributed the same 70%, 20% of the work. This guy is technically the leader. This person will, you know, approve most of the changes if possible. And then this 20% will be like a sub-leader. Right? So that will be their designation. And everybody else here is just a contributor. Which means that they have some pull, but they don't have as much as the leader. It's like open source. People call it a benevolent dictatorship, which is like one person, you know, delegates everything, but that's not really true, right? It's everyone can contribute an idea, but it's up to the maintainers if they can A, maintain the project, and B, if it makes sense, right? Like, does it make sense for the scope of the project as a whole? So that's overall what I believe is going on here. You don't just say somebody's the leader because, you know, oh, they're doing something right. Or no, it's the people that contribute the most have the final say. All right, let's get back to it.
And that is something that I think programmers with one side of their brain probably accept most of the time. And then they have this other side of the brain that gets carried away with the idea of like a kumbaya circle where no one has power of authority or whatever. And
Kumbaya circle, bro.
No projects that have ever reached any notoriety have been driven in that way. All the things we so dearly respect, everything from Linux to SQLite to NeoVim to Ruby on Rails to Ruby itself to every single fucking project. There's someone at the top who does the bulk of the work.
I love this dude's enthusiasm, bro. He's just swearing every 2 seconds and has like this angry voice. I don't know why. This is great, man. All right, anyways.
And sets the direction of where things go, and that's good. And then there's a bunch of shit that never goes anywhere where it's just a goddamn circle jerk. So meritocratic notions are really important, but they're also inherently controversial because in it
I agree.
is a statement, usually unsaid because it's not that polite, where we go like, you know what? My opinion is worth more than your opinion. And it's worth more because I've done the work and I know the work, and you just fucking showed up in a GitHub issues trying to tell me how to do my fucking job. And like, no, go fuck yourself. That's not how it's gonna work.
Okay. All right, that's a little harsh way to put it, but what do you guys think? All right, yeah, that is a bit of a harsh way to put it, but it is a true statement, right? Like, it's less of like, I don't give a fuck about what you think, and it's more about, you know, I'm the one. Like, let's just say, for example, and this has happened a lot of times on my project, they'll shade to anyone, right? People have ideas, people have great ideas, and people have ideas that make sense, but I don't have neither the time. Oh, shit. I don't have neither the time nor the experience. Or it could also just be the review time. Or like the reviewing period could be way too long to actually think of something. Or it could be like the scope of the project. Is this a hobbyist scope? Like, is this a hobbyist scope, for example? Oops. And, or, like, is it like a product? Right, so there's a lot of factors that come into whenever I review something. Is it worth my time to look at, basically? Is it something that I care about? Because a lot of software that I personally make is for me, right? I make the software for myself first, and if I have something that's, I don't really vibe with or I don't really use, it's gonna take way longer for me to give a shit. I'm just gonna put it out there, because, like, okay, sure, I can review it whenever, and as, like, a little exercise for myself, but otherwise, like, why do I care if there's multi-user auth? Or why do I care if there's a full auth server? Why do I care about Docker if I don't use it? Like, you guys get what I'm saying? It's not like saying your feature is bad. It's more so just saying, I don't really have the time or patience to think about it right now because I gotta set up a whole test suite for myself in order for it to work properly, is what I'm trying to say. Exactly, a time allocation. And again, like my job, right? You guys don't know my job already. It is very, very taxing on the body and the mind every single day. So when I get back home, I have to, think like, oh, is it really worth to add these patches right now? Or is it worth to take a look at this feature? That's why I do it on stream sometimes, because, it helps me focus. It helps me throw away all of that IRL stuff and just be like, okay, let's look at this feature straight up, no issues. But yeah, back to what DHH was saying, right? It's controversial. The meritocracy aspect is controversial simply because, this entire hierarchical system, it's not like everyone is valued equally in the open source sphere for a project. It's more so like the people approve it. And yeah, there's a lot of things. So let's just say, like, if somebody sends me a PR, oh shit, that's like 5,000 lines changed. And I've seen this before, by the way. And I've told people, like, this is a 5,000 line change PR. I am not looking at this in a good amount of time. Yeah, I'm not reading all that exactly. Right? So if it's like 5,000 lines change or something, and it's just like a bunch of stuff that makes no sense, it might be good, right? But I'm not gonna look at it in a reasonable amount of time. I apologize. It's just not worth my brain space right now to do so. Unless it's like for a feature or like a refactor that we've been working on together. But otherwise, like, I don't know. It's just like, was that 5,000 lines about inline? No. I made the inline loading methods myself, by the way. No. There's a lot of 5,000 line requests that have been showing up and I just haven't looked at because I'm just like, I don't want to look at these, man. This is not something I could try. Because to be completely honest with you, I'd rather just do it myself at that point. And, look at the code, see how the idea works and try and implement it in my own way. Because if you're changing like 5,000 lines of code to change something, then there's probably a simpler way to do it. You're probably just not looking at it correctly, is my opinion at least, right? And that's personally my job to look at it correctly, not yours. You can give me ideas. Yeah, you give me ideas on what the problems are and bring up the issue, and optionally offer your help, which is what a PR is. So a lot of PRs that I usually do approve are like, hundreds of lines. Right, I can read them pretty easily. I can understand what the feature is for, and I can understand what's going on. But if it's like a really big thing, unless it's like a big bug, for example, and if it's like a really big thing, then it's going to be really difficult to look at. And it's not your fault, it's me. It's more so that I don't have enough time in the day to just take a look. That's pretty much it. But yeah, let's keep going with the video.
And maybe this is where the stream crossing comes in. With the whole JavaScript question, because this was on a grand scale. This played out when we yanked TypeScript out of Turbo, a front-end library that worked on for many years. We yanked it out like last year, and a bunch of people showed up to tell me like whether that was the correct decision. And usually they showed up to say it was not the correct decision. Right? They just like, who the fuck are you? You just showed up from a link on Twitter to tell someone who've actually been working on this for fucking years how they should be working. No.
Damn, dude.
So to me, this goes all the way back to literally the first presentation I gave on Rails after it was out was at a conference in Canada. And my fourth or fifth slide was a big black and white slide that just said, fuck you. And it was addressed directly to that kind of commentary that already at that point, I mean, Rails had been released for literally 3 months before people started showing up demanding how I spent my time. Oh.
Okay, yeah, let's go over that. So, personally, I'm not as harsh as him with that, but yes, there are, unfortunately, in open source, since basically everything is a labor of love / free, right? Oh yeah, we also got an ad break in 30 seconds, so I'm gonna snooze it for now. I'm just gonna yap about this, but we're gonna have one. So, everything is a labor of love. And I'm not saying love is free, by the way. I'm just saying it's a labor of love. Everyone is doing it in their spare time. Okay? So since everyone is doing open source in their spare time, there's a lot of, unlike, you know, professional software where you could just like suggest features to the company and they'll add it at some point if it's a worthy feature, open source developers don't really have a, you know, time in that sense. Like, again, it goes back to the 4B principle where I'm like, you know what? Do I give a fuck about this feature? No? Okay, bye. But, I mean, that's my personal thought process about it. But I'm not like DHH where he's like, oh, well, you're suggesting something different even though I've been programming for years? Fuck you. Like, that's something that's a perspective that you can have. But I always believe that everybody has some knowledge to contribute, some experience. Because I'm not infallible, right? I'm a human being. I don't know everything. If I did, that would be insane, but that's really stupid. Everybody has some experience, can go into the pile. It can go into the overall experience pile of the code. All right, so basically, we have a circle. We have me, right? So it's me writing the code. And then let's just say we have 0x, for example. He communicates something. We add his knowledge into the pile. He's like, oh yeah, you can add this feature. I'm sorry, I'm assuming you guys are he. I apologize, but if you're not, then tell me. But it goes into this pile, right? So we're gonna add to the code with these new principles. So yeah, that's what the overall aspect of it is. However, there is a way to act when opening things. I think DHH does talk about this later, but there's a way to act, right? Number one, be polite, right? People work on this as a hobby, mostly. That's what open source software is. So be polite. Number two, have explanations ready. Don't just be like, oh yeah, I want this feature because it's cool. Okay, sure, but why the fuck is this feature useful compared to stuff that we have already? Number three is examples. Like you could type these up, or like, you know, stuff that's more real world. And this is more like a personal me thing, right? Whenever something is like a real world example, it gives me more perspective because you could give me benchmarks, you could give me stuff as much as you want, and making the number go bigger is cool, right? But if something isn't like affecting anyone in the real world based on tunables or parameters and stuff like that, then why does the feature even need to be added? You know, I am not a big fan of like, oh, here's your benchmark. This is how it works. Okay, cool. Like, come on, man. Seriously? That's what I think whenever I don't really see these things. And that's me personally, right? I think a lot of other maintainers would think the same. Let's just... it even got to the point where I just wanted to make... Like, let me just show you guys as to what I do, what I have on my GitHub repo. So let's just say we make like a bug report, right? So I scroll down. I have this little acknowledgement thing that... A, you've looked for similar issues, right? Because you know that something is there. B, you've read the disclaimer, and the issue is related to a code bug. Any support questions go into my Discord, because, you know, that's how I categorize things. Keeps things, you know, spread out. C, I understand developers have lives, and my issue will be answered when possible. That's something that should be obviously known, but unfortunately, a lot of people don't think about that when it comes to this type of software. And D, I understand that the developers of this program are human, and I will ask questions politely. Like, one thing that's very notable is harassment doesn't get anywhere. Right? If you harass the maintainer, like, hey, you should be doing things this way, otherwise I'm not going to use your software. Okay, then, don't use my software. Like, okay, sure. it's just gonna make any maintainer, not just me. There's other people that have said this too. Oh, so we got an ad break in a minute, which is unfortunate. There are others that have said this too, such as like the creator of UV, Charlie Marsh. Let me just show you guys a tweet, if I can find it. I think I follow him. Yeah. I reposted at some point. Here we go. One of my least favorite forms of GitHub comments is what I call the vague threat. Well, if you don't implement this, I'll have to take my business elsewhere. Then do it. It's just like, if you really want to do that, then yeah, I mean, okay, I could implement it at some point, but it's not gonna happen anytime soon, that's for sure. Like, again, we have lives, and just making these vague threats, making this vague harassment, it doesn't get anyone anywhere. That's at least my perspective. All right, yeah, so I'm just gonna run the ad again. See you guys in a minute, 30 seconds. This Twitch hates me. But yeah. All right, there we go. Anyways, for those that are subscribed and on Twitter, welcome to the stream. But yeah, just to bring you guys up to speed, I am talking about the DHH interview and my thoughts on open source maintainership in general, because of a lot of principles that I'll talk about at the end of the video. But there's a lot of things to think about when being a maintainer of a big repository, and using my own experience, hopefully I could teach you guys a bit of how to, you know, manage a big piece of software. But yeah, the unfortunate part is that Twitch has ad breaks, and Twitch's ad breaks suck. If you want to be completely ad-free, you can obviously watch on Twitter, and then use the Twitch chat to your liking. That's like the ultimate setup for my streams. Or maybe you can watch on the YouTube archive stream. That would be pretty cool too. Oh man. But yeah, I'm very happy that you guys are enjoying it this stream so far. This is very fun. I really like the enthusiasm from DHH here. He's like saying like fuck you, fuck this, fuck that. It's like, so honestly, I'll say this again when I get back from the ad break. I wish I had the level of thick skin that a lot of maintainers have, because there's a lot that can happen, right? It's like dealing with patients in a hospital, right? There's some good patients, and there's some bad there's some difficult patients. I'm not gonna say bad, because no one's a bad patient, really. There's some good and some difficult patients. People who, you know, don't open up, they're hard to talk to, or they don't really understand things, and that's really just either a lack of understanding, or it's more so just like a way to learn, to grow. And I don't really find I don't find those patients bad at all. Like, they're just people that, you know, if you give them information, they take it, they don't, they don't. And that's how it works with open source stuff. It's really helped me, you know, grow in terms of management and things like that. At least that's what I believe. So yeah, hopefully that, sorry, man, I have some stuff in my, it's a dinner. That was kind of crazy. But yeah, that's my overall thought process when it comes to users, is because everybody is a different person, right? And different people think of things in different ways, but it's not okay to, you know, dogpile on people, but it is okay to share knowledge with everyone else. That's what I think, at least. It's just, you know, in that spot. All right, ad breaks back. Let me know if you guys are back. We'll go back to the video. All right. I'm gonna have to edit all this out when I post on YouTube, aren't I? Oh, God. All right, back to the video.
Rails doesn't do Oracle database connections yet. Get on it. Wait, what? I'm not your fucking vendor. I'm not your employee. I am the bearer and bringer of gifts. And you will either take those gifts and be at least slightly grateful, or if not grateful, at least shut the fuck up. And if you don't want to do those things, if you don't want to be either grateful or shut the fuck up, you're going to get this. And you know
okay, yeah, I won't do that to you ever.
To your
He brought the chat in. Okay, that's good.
So when I look at open source, I go like, you know what? Open source is more fun when we are courteous and kind and not full of this all the time. But occasionally, you gotta have the hammer, right? Like, walk softly, but carry a big stick.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I like to walk softly most of the time, and occasionally someone needs a fucking whack on the head, where they're just reminded about the core dynamics and how they should be. Because the other thing is, you don't want it in.
Linus is good at this regard. Yes. Oh my God. If you guys in chat want to forward like a bunch of links regarding Linus Torvalds and his like crash outs, please do. But Linus is the funniest guy in open source, man. He, of course, he's like a pioneer of open source and the entire thing in general. But the way he responds to stuff, he has to go to like therapy, like anger management a couple of times, I think. But he is very harsh when it comes to stuff that is just really stupid in his perspective, or just doesn't really make much sense. I mean, it can be controversial, or what is it? What is the word I am looking for? Like combative. Combative is the word. It can feel combative, but it's more so just him trying to see whether it's a good idea for the Linux kernel project to have this thing. And it's just like, you know, what DHH said, you're the bearer and bringer of gifts. I mean, I don't 100% agree with that because, again, the knowledge pool, right? I bring the gift of the software to you, right? But also, you bring the gift of an idea to me. And that can come in the form of a pull request, that can come in the form of an issue, just as an example, right? That's where my overall stance falls in, is that it's not really just like a straight, here's my gift, there you go. And I feel like it's like a gift exchange, so what I said here is going to come up later, but yeah, anyways. But yeah, Linus is very good in wrangling people and bringing the hammer out when necessary, because some people really need it, man, I'm not going to lie.
The other way. You do not want your open source projects run by people who are not sort of the best at making them, who haven't put in the work, who haven't done all that. You don't want to nominate some random schmo to run it. That's
exactly,
not
yeah.
Get you the kind of software that you want. So my early day, once I got tired of just doing this and realizing, you know what, that's a little abrasive.
Yeah, like I just said.
Calm down a little bit. I came up with a shorter version of it, which was PDI. Someone would go like, "Oh, you should do the Oracle adapter," and I'd go, "PDI, please do investigate. You fucking do it. You fucking do it. You want an Oracle adapter? Great. Submit the patch. I'll have a look at it. If the code is good, it's not over complicated, it doesn't blow up, all sorts of other things, I'll probably go like, that's great. Thank you very much. Now we've shared gifts. We could be friends. Let's hug and dance and do all the things. We're doing open source."
Yeah, see, exactly, dude. That's exactly what I said. Oh my god. Yeah. I'm sorry, I gotta get excited there, but that's exactly what I said, because, right? PDI is a good way to say it, actually. So, PDI investigate it, basically. Please do investigate. Basically saying that, hey, you make the pull request about it, and just what I said right here with this stuff. Is the code good? Does the feature make sense? Is it not overly complicated? Is it something that I could read and oh, fuck off. Is it something that I could read and parse without any problems whatsoever, or like a little bit of friction that I could just edit? Then yeah, we'll take a look and merge things in. But otherwise, I don't know, man. So yeah, that's the other part of the gift exchange, which is good. This is what I was saying personally, but he explained it in a much more succinct way. Anyways, let's keep going.
Yeah, I think a phrase that I always have liked from Justin, who's currently the sort of like dictator for NeoVim.
Dictator for NeoVim is crazy.
Right? This idea of like, you shouldn't be afraid to fire some of your users sometimes, especially given a lot of the constraints that you have like as an open source project, right? Like constraints are good. And you know, I think directly quoting from some Basecamp stuff, there's never enough to go around, right? And so if you have some really squeaky wheels, sometimes, unfortunately, the best option is you say, like, you can do that. I'm totally fine. Also, the fork button is like a button, and you can do that too, and that's good. But like for the betterment of like everybody else, we kind of gotta move on.
Oh my god, yeah. So I actually talked about this on Twitter one time before I started streaming. There is a YouTuber by the name of Jeff Geerling, a YouTuber and developer of mainly Raspberry Pi stuff, by the name of Jeff Geerling. He's a really good YouTuber, but he made a bunch of articles that talked about, you know, I'll try and find them while I'm yapping here, but he made a bunch of articles that talked about how to manage an open source project. projects Jeff Geerling. Right, so how do you mess around with this stuff? Okay, this is something else. Open source maintainer Jeff Geerling. Let's look at that. Here we go. So these articles here, I highly recommend reading them if you ever start to become a maintainer. Very good posts explaining like what you should do. But one of the things that people always say in the open source world is, if you don't like it, I am Doctor's handwriting, fork it. Right? Forking is essentially taking the repository and just making your own version. This has happened to many things, right? This has happened to many things, like, for example, Tavern AI became Silly Tavern, and that's what it is now. And it's like, fork off. Fork off is crazy. I'm gonna use that. That's funny. But yeah, that's what the fork is for. Like, for example, I put specifically on Tabby that, just for my own sake, is that Tabby is a hobby project, right? It's a hobby project made for a small amount of users. It's not meant to run on production servers. Yet a lot of people like to run Tabby in production. To be completely honest with you, I have no fucking idea why you'd run my software in production. Sure, but just, yeah, like, production is not the goal of my software. And if you want to make a production version of Tabby that's like infinitely everything's better, etc., then sure, make your own. I don't care. That's not my deal. That's not my vibe. And if there's anything that you feel could contribute to the hobby side of it, then feel free to make a PR, right? That's what I think is the best bet. Because like, if something is more of like a production edge case, I'm not gonna put in like 50,000 tons of time to fix it. If you guys get what I'm saying, I'm not gonna put in a huge amount of time because like, I really can't. I don't have the time to do so. I don't have the headspace. I don't have the thought process to do all of that stuff. So yeah, just that's what I talk about when it comes to scopes of projects. Is it within the scope of this project? No. Then might be a good idea to make your own specialized version for your own specialized case. That's my opinion, at least. Anyways, back to the interview. I keep pausing and playing the music every time.
From this issue and let me like actually ship the stuff that's going to push this forward.
Yeah, you need to ship your product.
That's usually the point where the power balance gets exposed, and that's where people get a little mad, because they think
exactly.
when we're having this discussion in a GitHub issue that like if they just make an argument that they think is good, it has as much weight or it has as much value as someone who's actually doing the work and carrying the project forward, and it just doesn't. Right?
Mhm.
Like, you could even be right. I'm not even saying I'm right all the time. I mean, no one's right all the time.
DHH can interview himself. That's pretty funny.
I'm wrong all the time. I change my mind all the time too. So sometimes people go like, you should do this. And I go like, no, you're an idiot. And then like literally next week, I'm like, holy shit, that was actually correct. I'm an idiot.
Dude, that's literally me sometimes. Like, somebody makes an issue and then I reply to it. This is why I don't really do knee-jerk issue replies anymore, because like, A, it's stupid, right? You don't do that. And B, it's good to think about and just reason with the other developers like, hey, is this a good feature or not? And everyone can give their reasoning as to why it's a good feature. Most of the time, whenever I do any like revisions to features, I always think about like whether users will get mad, because I personally don't like it when the users get mad. I'm not gonna lie. I try not to make them mad, but they do get mad. Some of them do, some of them don't. There's like this XKCD. I'm not gonna look it up right now. I know Turbo has it, but this is XKCD where it's like every change breaks someone's workflow. That happens very often. But yeah, like I've come back to things in the next week. I've looked at an issue. Someone replied. I'm like, wait a minute. Why the fuck did I say this in the first place? Oh, sorry. I'm actually just gonna implement it because it actually makes kind of sense, even though it's like a little edge case. So yeah. But yeah, like, it's just really interesting to see how the community grows over time. Anyways, continuing on.
So let's go back and fix it and let's sort it out. But it has to be that way. And it has to be sort of just accepted that those power dynamics are there, and not that they're there, but that they're good. And then this is the magic of open source, is that, as you say, you can fork or you can just start your own project.
Mhm.
So much of wonderful open source, including much that I've done over my years, have come from exactly that. I go to some project that I think is in the direction of what I want, and then I try to see if I can get it there, and I can't, because that's not where they want to go. They want to go somewhere else, and I go like, do you know what? Fair enough. I'll do my own thing. I'll pack my own goddamn bags, and I'll set out on an adventure, and I'll create something different. I mean, the
This is also a lot of my like inspiration for open source, right? Let's just take a look at my GitHub for a second, just to give you an illustration as to what exactly my projects are. I'm just gonna go back here. Okay, it did not go back far enough. Let me just go to my GitHub account. Okay, so let's look at my projects. Right. So actually, let's put up a pinned. So we got Tabby. Right, Tabby was made because I didn't like the direction that a lot of LLM servers were going in at the time, and I made Tabby. Right. Then Y'all's, I don't like the direction of a lot of Llama CPP servers, and something just does nothing for my use case or convenience, so I just made my own. Ferrite, I didn't really, the Debited community has like a lot of things, but they're either all paid, there's subscription services, there's a lot of problems with it. I made my own thing, right? I have the knowledge to do so. And it just keeps going and going, right? There's so many things that I've made, either because I want to either just make my own thing, or I, had a lot of friction with something that already exists. It's not the direction that project wants to go in, and I make my own thing as a result. That's the overall aspect. That's the fun of programming, right? That's the fun of programming. If you have the knowledge to... I can't draw a computer. If you have the knowledge to mess around with the computer, right? Then you can do anything. You can do anything on a computer. And I feel like the biggest thing is the joy of learning. If you can learn how things work, it feels amazing. I don't know if you guys agree with this, but it feels amazing when you finally crack the code or able to be like, oh my god, this works. Wow, it's that's fucking insane, right? Like, learning is the fun part. Yeah, so I have no ill will towards any other projects that inspired me. In fact, actually, I state down below who inspired me to write these projects, because that's literally why I decide to smoosh everything together into what I've made currently. It's less of a, fuck you in particular. I'm just gonna make my own thing with Blackjack and, the other thing. I don't know if I can say it on Twitch. But yeah, like, that's the overall part. Like, if you're able to know something, gain some knowledge, understand something, that's the best way to figure out how things work. And if you're not willing to do that, if you're trying to just harass developers to do your bidding, then it's not going to be good for you, right? You need to, have that drive, in my opinion, when it comes to doing new things. All right, I think the interview's almost finished, so let's just keep going with that.
Great story of Linus with Git is exactly that. What was the thing he was using?
BitKeeper. They reverse engineered the BitKeeper protocol, which was strictly forbidden in their TO.
Oh yeah, Linus Torvalds invented Git as well, which is, what GitHub is based off of. So he's a pretty fucking big Chad in the space. But yeah, anyways.
OS. And then they got evicted and had to write their own.
Yes, exactly. And how wonderful is that? Imagine if they had somehow worked it out with BitKeeper. We would have been without Git.
Oh my god, so true, dude. Oh my gosh.
So some of this conflict and tension should not be seen as like a necessary or an evil. It's actually beneficial. It is in that grind, it is in that robbing. We realize we're not all the same. We don't want the same things. There shouldn't just be one project. There shouldn't just be one framework.
Exactly.
There shouldn't just be one programming
exactly.
language. There should be a multitude of them. And you should gravitate towards the one that most closely resemble what you would like to see. And
the only problem with that is that now we have JavaScript, and now we have like 50 web frameworks, and everyone tries to do the same thing as the other. But anyways, let's continue.
What you would like to have. And this is why we need a bunch of choices. This is why we should not sort of just converge on 5 things, which I know the internet loves a horse race, right? Like there's always like, oh, is this framework more popular than that framework? Like they constantly want to converge. No.
Damn, bro, he really just said what I just said too. That's crazy.
Don't converge. Have enough choices, have enough options to realize programmers are weird and wonderful in very idiosyncratic ways that are incompatible. You can't take all the people who write the fucking Go code and shove them into a Ruby project and then like they're going to be happy.
Yeah, very much.
No, like we want different things. Actually, I mean, maybe Go is the wrong example. We have some folks on the team who do write Go, and I think they sort of like it okay too. So anyway, just this idea that there are different universes that have non-overlapping, conflicting visions of what they want. And clarifying those boundaries is helpful to get people to realize what they want. Now, the first thing, of course, is most people don't know what they want. They show up and they're like, what should I use? I don't know, fucking start anywhere. It doesn't even really matter because you start with something and you realize, is this the thing that tickles my noodle? And if it doesn't, then you move on to something else. You can try like 5 things, especially early on in your career. I would not at all be in a rush to commit. Like you just start programming, oh, that's great. You should try 5 things.
Exactly,
Once you
dude.
try the 5 things, as we talked about in the beginning, the world isn't that large. You will realize that you've had some cursory understanding and that some things speak more to you than other things. Wonderful. Then double down, then get good, then achieve mastery, then do all the things.
All right, let me just do this real quick. Hold on.
Don't try to get it all together. We don't want one language. We don't want one. And that's why the internet is so amazing. This is why I'm like,
okay, yeah. I think we could stop it from there because he stopped talking about all the open source stuff. All right, so for any of you guys that want to watch this interview, I'll put the link in the chat. This is a really, really good interview. I recommend watching all 2 hours because that's what I did. But yeah, that's the overall thing of DHH's interview. You guys in chat got any questions? Anything that's like, you know, you want any biting thing on your mind that you want to ask me, you want to see about? Because I'm going to talk about my personal experience with maintaining now. Okay. So let's talk about that. And again, any questions, just ask me. But my personal experience. Right, so when I started, like, let me just show you my GitHub again. And I'm not trying to flex my GitHub out. I'm just trying to show you, like, the perspective. Stars are usually not a good metric for measuring, like, oh, how popular are you? Because, like, fucking useless. I hate how GitHub, like, added a social media aspect to their thing, but stars are used to show, like, oh, who likes your repo, basically. You can see here that, 3 stars, 10 stars, 26 stars, 164 stars, pretty big, by the way, 83, still pretty big, considering I haven't really pushed y'alls at all, and then 1.1 thousand. So, wait, 1.1 thousand? When the fuck did we reach that? Oh shit, okay, well, okay, well, congrats to the team on 1.1k in Tabby, what the fuck? It was 1k before. Anyways, but yeah, you can see the odd number out in this case, and it was Tabby that really taught me about maintaining it. Unfortunately, Tabby threw me into the deep end of open source, because what essentially happened is I hit like lightning in a bottle, I'd say. Let's make a little graph. And let's make the bottom popularity, so pop, and then let's make it X llama, because that's the framework that that's the framework that's used for this. So X llama was like this until it starts skyrocketing in popularity. Now it's kind of tapered off. You know, it's more so just like a niche thing for GGUF users. It's a really, really fucking good framework, by the way. I highly recommend using it, because if you want speedy LLM inference, you got to use X llama. It's the best thing out there. But well, I mean, there's more enterprise things that are speedier, but for like single user home server, it's really good. Anyways, I'm just showing my software and Turbo software. So anyways, but yeah, I made Tabby like probably right about here. And I also worked with the main developer to make Tabby. So, and yes, I really like networking with people. That's like the #1 thing you should do when developing, is network with others. But I like talking to people. And we talked. I'm like, yo, I want something better. And this is what came of it. Unfortunately, the naming was kind of ass. I feel like that the naming wasn't, you know, conflicting within the more popular project, then it would be much more popular right now, but it's whatever. I mean, we made Tabby API. It's great. It works. But yeah, at that point, it just started skyrocketing. Here's what I expected when it came to stuff like this. So we have this. Sorry. It's more so like this very, very slow growth of the repository. But instead, we had this shit. And I kind of just fell into the deep end. So I was trying to be a people pleaser. I didn't want people to leave my software. And what DHH said is that, or sorry, not DHH, Teach said, users can be fired. Nowadays, I kind of emphasize with that statement because, like, like a user can stop using your thing. That's whatever. I really don't care personally because I'm making the software for me in the beginning, and I had to have a lot of people tell me that because I was simply like, oh my god, this user wants this. What do I do? What do I do? Let me put the right eyes on. What do I do? No, fuck. What do I do? What do I do? Oh my god. You know. Oh, man. But yeah, like, all of these users are asking me so many things to do, and I'm not sure I want to please this guy. He's going to be shitting on my project. It's going to be bad. Like, no. That's not what's going to happen, because one thing in the open source world, while reputation is one thing, the thing that shows better is the quality. So that's one. And two, the work, right? You let the software do the talking. Can the person use the software and do they like it? And did they understand the reputation that was put about the software? If yes, then yeah, it's a good piece of software. It's something that should be used. If no, then it does need some work. And those comments are valid. Like, it's simply just like, rather than your reputation or the repository's reputation, oh, the repository is known to not do this, that. No one really cares about that, right? People care about the code. People care about, like, oh, is the code useful? So yeah, I feel like these two metrics are way more important than, let's just say, reputation. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. Looks for Tabby API, finds Tabby API. Yeah, if you guys don't know what Mephi said, the inside joke, or sorry, not really inside, is that there are two tabbies, right? So the first tabby is Tabby ML, which is a coding assistant. And then our tabby is Tabby API, which is the LLM engine. So people confuse these two all the time. And obviously this one's the more popular one, so people find this first. But Tabby API is also, you know, there. So people are like, oh, you make Tabby? You mean this Tabby? No, I mean this Tabby. It's just like, yeah, so what Mephi said is basically 100% true. It's just an unfortunate thing of naming. And if the repo was going like this, I'd have honestly renamed the project, but it went like this. So renaming the project was basically an impossible task because, like, yeah. It's like projects like llama.cpp, right? So if we do llama CPP, llama CPP isn't just for llama anymore, llama models. It's for Mistral, Quen, DeepSeek, and pretty much most models. It even got its own server project. So it's not really llama CPP anymore. It's more like everything CPP. So yeah. But they can't change the name just like that, right? It's like, you make the name, you gotta stick with it. Kitchen sink CP, for real, bro, for real, man. That's what it feels like nowadays. The code in there, oh my god. That's another reason why I made y'all, is the code styling and quality in Llama CPP is just so off the rails. It's like the Wild West, bro. I cannot work with that personally. No offense to the developer, but I just cannot work with that. I work with another friend of mine. Very great guy, very cracked C++ dev, and we just made our own thing. Because, like, this shit's just way too confusing. And for those of you who are like, Llama CPP is really hard to work with, you got another thing coming, because actually working with the library is even worse. So yeah. They're doing a really good job on the project, though, and it's really great that there's an alternative way to inference with LLMs besides Python, so that's great. But yeah. Also, I wanted to experiment with Dino, and that was probably, like, the perfect project. You know, when you think of Dino for the first part, you, like, think of, oh, JavaScript, web, or No, I think, oh, let's make a backend LLM API server. Yep, that's what my brain thought. So yeah, that's why I am a crazy person. But yeah. So back to the maintainer thing. So I was trying to, you know, please users, and again, one thing is that not everyone can be pleased. People will harass as your repo gets more popular. A lot of people who don't exactly have the best manners or demeanor come out and they're like, hey, why don't you add this thing? What is wrong with you? You are a failure, etc., etc. I'm exaggerating, obviously. I've never really seen to that degree, but I have seen harassment in many cases, not just in the Tabby's creation, and many other previous creations as well. There was a lot of harassment rather than just like, you know, being polite and saying, hey, you know, you could fix this. And I'm gonna be real, like, there was like my first ever project was modding Android. I'll give a little story here. Modding Android. And there was like this kernel thing, right? These Android kernels that could be made. I made my own fork. I was making my own stuff because it looked cool and I wanted to make my battery better. So I talked with a bunch of people. I worked with a few people that I, you know, that's first introduced me into development. Oh, for fuck's sake, we got an ad break. Okay. I'll save the story until after the ad break. Sorry, I'll repeat it. But yeah. I've been in this thing for like 6 years, so I've definitely been the subject of some harassment, some, you know, stuff, and it's normal. It happens with everyone. It's not unique to me. I'm not trying to make a sob story here. Oh my god, woe is me. I was harassed. Like, no, that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to just tell you, like, that's how people are. You're dealing with people in the end, and some people will be like that. You know, hopefully you guys can understand that. And all of you guys, like, in the chat, all of you guys who are chilling, vibing, you guys are great. You guys are great people. You guys are awesome. I don't have any ill will towards anybody, right? It's just that, and in the end, like, everything is usually trivial anyway. It's just code, right? So yeah. Okay, ad break is starting. All right. But yeah, let me just keep yapping for those who might be watching on Twitter or YouTube, if they are. So yeah, that's the overall aspect of my thought process when it comes to doing this type of stuff. Because, like, maintaining things is hard, man. It's hard. It's a hard job. It's difficult, especially when you have a job, right? You're doing your main job, then you're doing your passion project. Just a lot of things. But let me actually get an expression in here for conveying my point a bit. Hold on. Okay. Here we go. And then here we go. Okay, and then we want to do done. Okay. Yeah, perfect. But yeah, this is really what it makes me feel like when it comes to programming. I'm just like, this is like super cool, you know? And that's what really drives me, like the fun of it, rather than just like, oh, I need to please user X, I need to please user Y. It just doesn't feel like it makes much sense, in my honest opinion. So yeah. Well, hopefully you guys will come back real soon. This freaking hate Twitch's ad break, stupid ass thing. I'm honestly having a lot more fun. I'm having so much fun. Okay, we're back. I'm having so much fun just streaming programming and this stuff in general. Like, I've always wanted to yap about my experiences, things that I've learned, things that I've worked with. And I hope you guys are learning, you know, enjoying learning about my experiences, hearing them, understanding where I come from and a lot of things. Because again, I got no ill will towards anyone. I don't really give a fuck. It's online. It's just stupid disagreements. But if someone really wants to, you know, put me down, then I'm not gonna fuck with you. It's that simple. Like, let me continue with the story. So again, we're back to like the Android, since the ad break is over, we're back to the Android developer thing. I made a custom kernel and I posted it, right? And I didn't really know much Git at the time. I yoinked somebody's commit and I committed it, right? And it had just a few optimizations. And this person was like, you gotta fix that authorship right away, otherwise I am gonna be so mad. Like, I'm like, what the fuck? And keep in mind, I was very young at this time. But yeah, I was very young. I didn't know how Git worked. I didn't know what was going on. And I'm like, whoa, what's the problem? What's the issue? And he's like, you gotta fix this right now. I'm gonna pull everything. And then I was just asking questions like, yo, what's good? How do I do it? Etc. etc. What did I even do? I don't know what I did, by the way. I had no idea. So, and then this guy just crashed out. He's like, listen here, you little piece of shit. Not in those words. Listen here, you little piece of crap. I'm stopping work on this thing. If you want to know who did it, blame me, essentially. Blame me. Blame King Ryan. And I'm like, dude, okay, cool. So, you know, people were jumping after me in the forums as well, and I just, like, retreated because, like, I didn't know what to do, right? There was no solutions. There was nothing being discussed. It was just, like, harassment shitfling because some authorship stuff went wrong. Back then, I didn't know how to fix it, right? I pushed a few commits that I thought fixed it, but it really didn't. And then after another harassment thing in Telegram, you know, I mean, might have been deserved because I didn't really know what I was doing. But eventually, I asked somebody, like, how do I fix this? How do I rectify it? Because, like, I was down to rectify it. I never said, I'm like, hey, I'm not going to fix this at all. So I was down to rectify it. And the guy showed me, like, a couple of commands, explained why it does this. And I did it. All was well. I was not, like, saying that you're wrong, you're doing this wrong. I was simply like, how do I fix it? You know, and that harassment encounter really dampened my thought process. Like, hey, I feel like programming really isn't for me. It can shatter any beginner dev's confidence, right? Like, I don't know if it's just me, but it can shatter anyone's confidence. I was young at the time too. I was just trying to learn this stuff as a hobby, and I don't know. I mean, I worked through it. I kept going, and it required a lot of, you know, courage and strength for myself and a bunch of people that were supporting me at the time. But it was just, you know, it hurts, right? You're just a beginner dev. You're trying to learn what to do, and then people are suddenly jumping on you for this bullshit. Probably because they want to cover their own ass, right? Like, oh, why are you associated with this? Like, I understand, but that it's not really the way to go about it by just yelling and shouting at someone, is my opinion. Right, I don't know if you guys agree, but that's just like a little story that I have of years past. But yeah, now I'm my own person. I know Git inside and out, and I can do everything with just the command line. So yeah. Anyways, but yeah, back to the maintainer thing. So as you can see, there's a lot of stuff involved with maintaining a repo. A lot of politics mostly, because you go from, hey, like, I want to code some software and post it on the internet for everyone to look at. And then next thing you know, you don't just become a developer, you become a manager, you become QA, you become DevOps, or you become a sysadmin. You just take over all of the roles in a figurative company because that's what you are now for some reason, you know? You're, for some reason, a new everything, unlike a big tech company which has all of these departments. And you gotta handle that all on your own, or if you bring new people in to maintain things. So yeah, that's really what it comes down to, where people, you know, just jump head first. Their stuff suddenly becomes popular, and the next thing you know, you're dealing with all of these other responsibilities rather than just working on your code. And it's exhausting, especially when you have the threat of a day job. And so when you have that day job and you have all of this, it can very easily lead to burnout. And that is the one thing that's happened to me once. I actually wrote a blog post about it before I started streaming, but it can lead to burnout. And burnout sucks. Burnout really sucks because you don't want to code, or you're too afraid to code, or or it's just, you don't want to pick up the mouse and keyboard and just start typing. It's like, it sucks. It hurts a lot. And the only way to get through it is simply just figure out a way to prevent it. Maybe I could talk about that in another stream where I more so talk about, like, learning programming and learning about open versus closed source and things like that. And honestly, this is why many people do go closed. Right? Because they don't really want to face the wrath of the internet. It's just like, the wrath of the internet's never fun. But yeah, you gotta. I think the number one thing that I still think I don't have, let's just be for real, is thick skin. You gotta have a thick skin when dealing with open source, because when dealing with people that are just like insisting that something needs to be added, it really hits home, hits hard. And if someone is that insistent, it just does not feel like it's fun to code anymore. And yeah, I completely understand that. So that's the number one thing for me that's the number one advice I give to any developer that gets something that's popular. You gotta not give a shit, keep doing what you're doing, and just have a thick skin. You know, you could be reasonable, you could be amicable to the users, you can answer every single request, but just figure out if it fits within your time. Right? Or do you have time to do it? Is what I'm trying to say. Anyways, that's pretty much it for the entire open source segment. I know we went like... Wow, we went for an hour and a half on this. God damn, I need to cut this and post it for sure on YouTube if you guys are interested. But yeah, like, that's my overall thought process when it comes to open source stuff, because it's a big thing, right? I didn't know this when I first started publishing. I'm like, yo, I mean, I was like younger, and I was just like, you know what? This stuff looks cool, and it's great to share things with people around the world. So I got nothing to hide with my code. You can look at it as much as you want. So there you go. Take a look. That's all I'll say. So yeah. All right. Let me put on the idle screen. I'm gonna get a quick drink of water, and then we'll start doing the website in React. As long as you don't ask Gia Tan to maintain it. Who is Gia Tan? I've heard of the name before. Who is that? Oh, the XZ bag. Yeah. Okay. Do you guys want me to talk about the XZ exploit? I don't mind. I just need to get a drink of water, and then I can just yap about it, because it is I talked about it on Rixie's stream before, but it is one of the most interesting exploits in my opinion. Like, it's not really a backdoor, it's literally just some crazy social engineering exploit, which, after water? Yeah, okay, sounds good. I'll be right back, guys. Don't go anywhere. Enjoy the study screen. Okay. Get back to here. Okay. I got some water. Took a small voice break. I actually did karaoke last night, so my voice is getting a nice workout over the past 2 days. Also, my sleep schedule, but we don't talk about that. Even though I am literally doing a stream on sleeping next week. My sleep schedule was a bit cooked for the past couple of days, I'm not gonna lie. Please don't chastise me in chat. I am... I know I'm stupid, man. Lord. Okay, anyways. How bad is it? It's not too bad. Like, I've been getting an okay amount of hours, but it's not as good as I thought it would be. Oh, man. Okay. Anyways. Better not be... No. There are some people I know that have been in this chat who fucking do that. And I am going to call them out next week. But if they're okay with it. But... And they better be here next week if they want to learn how to sleep properly. No, I don't... Yeah, okay. Sir, why are you not sleeping? Here's what 0x just said. Me lower my head. It's like, yeah, me. I fall asleep at 5 a.m. Bro, please. Please, bro. You're going to sleep when the sun's coming out, man. I know some people got night shift and stuff like that, but yeah. You do what you need to do. Just pull up next week so I can tell you about what you're doing wrong. Anyways. Alright. So let's talk about the XZ project. I just need to reset it. Alright, man. Excuses. Excuses. Okay. Sorry. Oh my god, my microphone is bumping everywhere. This thing about iPad, I need to find like a good spot to prop it up, and I need to make sure it doesn't start hitting my keyboard randomly. Alright. So let's talk about the XZ exploit. Let's just make a little summary, right? This is not like your standard malware where you have like a program and it does bad stuff. To put it lightly, we don't have that. Instead, what we have is malicious individuals doing social engineering to basically force an old repo maintainer to cede access to these individuals. From there, the individuals then published a malicious package. And that's how the XC exploit essentially happened. It's not really an exploit or a backdoor. It's just that there was so much harassment to this one person that this person just like, you know what? You take it. And then the individuals, you know, were malicious and they pushed out a package that basically broke every single Linux version that day. And that's essentially what happened. Just like a shorter summary. But let's go over the full understanding here. So these individuals, and one of them is what 0x just mentioned. Good old bullying and supply chain. Exactly. Actually, there have been a few supply chain attacks. You know what? Instead of the website, do you guys want to talk about the supply chain attacks that have happened over the past couple of weeks in addition to this? I'd be down. I'd be so down. I always love talking about cybersec shit. It's always fun. I'm going to talk about the XZ one. Just let me know in chat. But the NPM, yeah, NPM. That's what I'm going to talk about. Okay, so we'll talk about that after this. But yeah, basically what happened, this happened back in 2024. So it's February of 2024. It says in the CERCS results. But yeah, so essentially a backdoor was added into the XC repo. How was that possible? Well, one of the accounts, so there are two people involved, right? So we have person 1 and person 2. Person 1 is the first social engineering person. So what he does is he opens an issue of why feature not work. Oh shit, I can't spell. Why feature not work? This sucks. And we're gonna draw like a little angry face here. Ah, this sucks. Ah. I can't really do it. Actually, I can do an angry face. I have an expression for it. I'm not gonna talk right now. This sucks. It's terrible. I'm gonna get rid of XZ. It's terrible. So the creator's like, yo, I just work here. And then this person 2 then comes in and is like, I'm gonna save the day. And he can take it off the original dev's hands. Actually, do this here. Okay, and we're just gonna call this dev. Right, so, yo, I just work here, and person 2 is like, yo, I'm gonna save the day. I'm a good person, I know what the fuck I'm doing. So, the dev is like, okay, here's the repo. And then, what essentially happened is person 2 plus person 1, they both conspired. They're evil. They're, I am evil. I am terrible. I am going to ruin everybody's day now that I have access to a core utility. I'm animating it, of course. This is about to be like the XZ attack, the animation. But anyways, so they do this. They work together. And they add a backdoor, which is malicious. And they push it. Every single Linux repository, every APT repository, APT, RPM, Pacman, everybody gets this update to this package. Next thing you know, every Linux distro compromised. Assuming that they updated to that version of XZ. That's how bad it was. So this was a supply chain attack that was due to social engineering of targeted harassment of a tired open source developer who just, did not want to do any of this bullshit anymore. He's just like, you know what? I'm an older person now. I got better things to do. You fuck around with it, and you can handle the official package. So, yeah, man was sick of it. Exactly. He was just sick of dealing with all those people. I'd be too, personally. And if you say right now, oh, I wouldn't do the same thing, you 100% would. That's like just a normal thing. XZ has been around for years, like 2 decades at this point. And for someone maintaining a package for 2 decades, who the fuck is gonna care, right? Like, and stuff like this can happen. And honestly, it sets a precedent that you really shouldn't be harassing tired open source devs who are working on this shit as a hobby. Or just something that they just want to do at some point, It happens. It happens. And the best way to fix this is to simply just fork it. Like, somebody could just make a new XZ package, and that's it. So one problem that the open source dev did was that he did this here. If something similar will happen to the code, I mean, here's my personal take on it. You should never do this, right? Instead, what the dev should have said is fork it and make your own. Like, you can make better XZ as for a new example packaging. People switch to new packages all the time, right? Just based on their, thought process. So if the developer said, yo, you don't like XZ, then make your own fucking package, XYZ. Yeah, like, why not, right? You can make better XZ if you really want that feature. Like, why the fuck should I care about what you think? So, yeah. And he could still remain the sole maintainer. This would never have happened. But again, this definitely happened for a reason, because it shows just how tired devs can be when it comes to maintaining 20-year-old packages that they don't even use anymore. So, anyways. So, let's look at the NPM attacks. Woo! I think I have a couple of Twitter posts about this, so I'm going to try and find it in my bookmarks. Give me 1 second. I honestly haven't used Twitter as much anymore, because, like... Oh, yeah, I also found... Oh, I found a few things, actually. This was from the Apple stream. Okay, let me show you guys. Yeah, this is a project I can also talk about today. This was fucking cool. Or I could talk about it in a different stream. I don't fucking care. Either way is fine with me. And just see how much time we got. Yeah, they ran a full-fledged website on a vape. Like, one of those disposable ones that you buy that has, like, just a shitty computer and a battery and that's it. Yeah, that is wild. Actually, fuck it. Let's talk about it. Okay. So, hosting a website on a disposable vape. Okay, so this isn't the actual blog post. Here's the blog post. So this guy's called Bogdan the Geek. I saw this on Twitter, and I'm like, you know what? I want to talk about this on stream, so let's talk about it. So this article is not served from a web server running on disposable vape, yada, yada, yada. Okay. For a couple of years now, I've been collecting disposable vapes from friends and family. You shouldn't be vaping, first of all, but I get it for quitting nicotine addiction. Initially, I only salvaged the batteries for future projects. It's not hoarding, I promise. Let me send you guys the link. But recently, disposable vapes have been gotten more advanced. I wouldn't be the lawyer who one day have to argue how a device with USB-C and a rechargeable battery can be classified as disposable. Yeah, that's true. Okay. Last year, I was tearing apart some of the fancier pacifiers when I noticed something that caught my eye. A small ASIC. Oh. Okay, so an ASIC is literally just a very, very specialized computer that's made to do something. So if you guys have ever been like the crypto or the AI world, AI, the ASIC technically is TPUs. For crypto, ASIC mining is used for Bitcoin. And it's basically just like a way more efficient way of mining cryptocurrency because it's a chip that is quite literally specialized for mining crypto. That's it. Now you can argue about how useless that chip is all you want, but that's what an ASIC is, a very highly specialized chip to do one specific thing. But the thing is, it's still sand. So you can make that specialization for something else, which is probably what this person did. Let's keep going. So I see a little integrated circuit inscribed Puya. I don't blame you if this name doesn't excite you as it does me. Most people have never heard of them. It's the cheapest flash microcontroller you can buy. Like I said, you could just use something else. But yes, they are quite capable little ARM Cortex micros. Over the past year, I collected quite a few of these PY32 based vapes, all of them from different models of vape from the same manufacturer. It's not my place to do advertising with big tobacco. Okay, who fucking cares? The chip is the Puya. Okay, so we're gonna scroll down. Here's the specs of a microcontroller that is basically disposable. 24 megahertz of Cortex M0 Plus, 24 kilobits of flash storage, 3 kilobits of static RAM. Wow. Okay. Yeah, so this is actually less spec than the car thing. Oh my god. This is actually much less spec than the car thing. And the car thing had like fuck all for specs for running anything on it. You may look at these specs and think it's much like not much to work with. So you want to run a blazingly fast web server. Yo, you write it in Rust, that's what you do. So you get it online, you write your post on semi-hosting, yada yada. Okay, so this is just going through the overall aspect of actually getting the website running. Essentially what this person did is he made a full protocol for directly sending TCP and for sending TCP and IP together, TCP IP stack. And he's using a micro IP service that can run on this system. So yeah. And he made it even more fast than before. Even though, unfortunately, let's see. So how fast is a web server running on a disposable microcontroller? Well, initially it's not very fast. Pings took about 1.5 seconds. Holy shit. With 50% packet loss. But that's so that is pretty fucking bad, I'm not gonna lie. So the problem was actually between the seat and the steering wheel. The first implementation read and wrote a single character at a time, and there was a bunch of overhead. So what he did is he essentially changed the implementation and fixed it, and now the ping got so much faster. And now there's a full website running on this. Bro, that's actually crazy. I'm not gonna lie. Like, what the fuck? Are you fucking serious right now? I got an ad in 2 minutes, by the way. That is insane. I'm not gonna lie. Running a full-ass website in vape. Now, at least that's one way of recycling a vape. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe I could run King Bright on dev on that in vape. I don't know, man. That is kind of crazy though. I like that. That's insane. All right, let's see. So now for NPM. NPM time. All right, major active supply chain attack just hit NPM. Popular package was Trojanized and it didn't stop from there. Over 40 packages were silently modified to steal secrets from dev pipelines. All right. And there's a bunch of stuff. So let's look at this. So I believe, so we have this package was compromised. Also, a bunch of packages from CrowdStrike, you know, the company that, you know, fucked up every computer in the world. Yeah, these guys got compromised as well. Jesus fuck. That's pretty bad, I'm not gonna lie. Alright. Nearly 500 affected NPM packages. Dude. Nah. 500? That is insane. Holy shit. My god, dude. Holy fuck. Anyways. A malicious update was to Tiny Color was detected on NPM as part of a broader supply chain attack that impacted more than 40 packages spanning multiple maintainers. And there's a new compile. First notice, blah, blah, blah. Following NPM packages were compromised. The bundle.js script executes TruffleHog, a secret scanner, and then creates the host for tokens and cloud credentials. So basically, if you run like GitHub Actions with this package install, the JavaScript initialization runs the package initialization. And that basically runs this TruffleHog, which extracts all of your developer secrets from GitHub Actions and sends them over to a private server. So yeah, it's stealing. It's basically just a stealer. And that is what Trojan Horse is, right? It's just something that's seemingly great, but it has malware hidden in it. Yeah. There's like a bunch of like screen cap files, I believe, that can do that. I don't remember for sure. CrowdStrike. Bro, yeah. CrowdStrike really fucked up. Like, even my gym, you know, like they have those monitors where you display like things that they're showing off or they're promoting. I don't know if you guys like go to a gym. But apparently those ran CrowdStrike too. I have no fucking clue why. And for like 4 days straight, there was just BSODed. There's like BSODs everywhere in the gym. It was so funny. I was like, what the fuck? Ah, jeez, we got an ad already. Man, it's like Twitch only allows you to do 30-minute streams, otherwise it just starts punishing you. It's actually crazy. Oh, Lord. I always appreciate you guys supporting me, though, with the money, the ad money, even though I don't really care for it or need it, and the best way to give me money is through, like, subscribing or coffee. I'm kidding, guys. Please don't give me money. I don't need the money. I just like streaming. Alright, let's just get through the ad break. And then I will explain the supply chain attack. Because it's less involved than the XZ attack, but it is so fucking dumb. It is so stupid. Okay. Meanwhile, let me just load my website onto my computer and get everything installed, because like we kind of need that if we're gonna program the website. Oh yeah, I also need to update the gallery in my website with a new Monami art, because the new art looks great. Okay, so let's CD into the D drive. Oh, it's already here. Okay, sweet. Sorry. Oops, that's not what I want to do. And that's not what I need to... You wanna know what I hate the most? It's that I have to, you know, fix the terminal every single fucking time I use this thing. Here we go. Okay, so we got the website set up. Let's open this up in VS Code. Oh, man. Wow. Wow, I'm really tired today. Holy shit. Probably should go to sleep soon, not gonna lie. Not right now yet, though. I'm gonna still fuck around with this stuff and see if we can actually make a card site in a respectable amount of time. Oh, ad break's done. Thank you. Alright. Now that this is set up, let's explain the NPM attacks. So, here's what happened. There's a new type of phishing attack where basically we have the maintainer. And again, these are all very old packages that are being targeted, and I'll explain why in a second, but these maintainers are tired. They don't want to maintain this shit anymore. So they get a email, and the sender is npm critical or something like npm.com. And as you know, npm is npmjs.com, or sorry, npmjs.com, right? Not npm.com. So let's just say it's that, okay? So this gets sent to the maintainer. It's like, urgent. Package is compromised. like those scammer emails where they say, "Oh, your refund is not processed properly. You got to call us to get the proper refund back." You know, that those types of emails. Don't ask why I did the accent. But yes, the package is compromised. Oh no. So the sender then clicks the link that's usually contained within this email. Right? So the sender clicks it, the maintainer clicks this, and what happens, I'm just gonna use this color. What happens is that they go to a website. That looks very similar. That is just literally NPM, right? So let me just show you what it looks like here. It looks like this, right? You see this website, which is, you know, NPM. So then what you do, you click sign in, right? So you click the sign in page. Or it'll even be a link that takes you to sign in. So it's going to be going to npm.com/login instead of npmjs.com. People aren't going to notice that. It still looks like npm. And it's going to look like this. So what is essentially being done is the front end from npm, JS is being transported into npm.com. Okay, so that's where the front end is going. So it looks the same. However, every front end has a back end. And this is in blue because it's the legitimate back end. But this back end is not. So it's basically, it looks like a duck, it walks like a duck, it acts like a duck, but it isn't a duck, it's a goose. This is an ugly ass goose that is masquerading. You could say something else there. Was masquerading as npm.js. So when the maintainer signed into this website through this front end, their credentials got stolen. And therefore, a malicious package can be published. So that is the science of phishing. Right here. Email gets sent. Website looks very... what is it? Website looks very, very similar. It looks convincing. Then they go to that website, right? They sign in. And then they sign into the malicious website that had the entire front end from the original website transferred over. And your credentials are then sent to the back end. And the credentials are stolen. And the malicious package is published. Yep. That is essentially what happened. And it has compromised 500 packages. I want you to think about that for a second. 500 different packages got compromised. And it's not just that, right? So you push that malicious package, take a guess who's depending on that package. There are so many. So we could say this is dependent A. And then dependent A. And we have dependent B. So dependent B and dependent C. So this is dependency chaining. So dependent C fetches from dependent A, which fetches from the malicious package, which has now been replaced. It is that bad. So when you modify a core package that's in a lot of things, you might not even know it's there, right? It could be a dependency of dependency. That's where the problem is. And the package that got modified the first time is quite literally called debug. Debug. That is the package. And it's used in a lot of other packages. Like, let's see. I believe it was this package. Yeah, here we go. Debug. We could scroll down. 55,000 packages were vulnerable. 55,000 were essentially vulnerable. Oh, sorry. I'm not even showing it. Here. You can see here. 55,000 packages are vulnerable due to this malicious package that was pushed. React is probably chained in there. Yeah. Fucking React.js is everywhere. If someone compromises React.js, you might actually be cooked. Let me just see, like, what the versions are. Yeah, it is this. You can see 4.41, then 4.43 is crazy. Wait, let's see. Yeah, yep, it was this one. No fucking way. Holy sh... Yo! Wait. Oh, this is not Proton Mail. Never mind. This is just some random ASCII user. Sorry. Version 5.61 is published. Version 6.21 is compromised. 6.22 is No way, dude. Everything is compromised. All of the chalk packages are No. Holy fuck. Yo, this is huge. Dude, this is insane. God damn. Yeah, so version 4.42 was malicious and it was completely pulled. Oh my fucking god, this is insane. Holy shit. Yo, man, I don't even know. That is... Do you guys think that's crazy? Do you guys think that's crazy or not? I really want to know, like, the fact that all of those packages can be compromised at once is insanity. Mount my iPad real quick. Okay, good. Oh, man. Jesus. Nevertheless. Alright, so... Let's see... Might just need to start copy and pasting code, bro. For real, man. For real. Alright. Let me go on the... Alright, so you can see on VS Code right now, this is my website, right? This is just Tailwind right now, but... I made this website, like, back in 2020. I'm honestly not sure if I want to do, like, the card website today. Because, like... You know, it is getting kind of late. It's almost 2 hours for streaming, but... Yeah, I'll just go over my website. How about that? And then we'll see if we want to make a card. You guys think that's fair? Alright, so first let's install everything through npm. Alright, sounds good. Alright, so let's install everything. Unsupport type URL. What the fuck? What do you mean? Do I have npm? Yeah, I do. Oh wait, did I? No. Okay, there we go. It's working. What the fuck? Why did that fail? pm dev. There we go. All right, so I'm writing this on Next.js, by the way. I probably should make it React plus Vite. I'm not gonna lie. So what's it running on? Localhost 3000. Okay. All right, so let's do. Yeah, so this is my website with some dark reader. Let's fix that. Okay. This is just my about me. I'm not like you can see my first name. I don't really give a fuck. But yeah, this is my website. This is the blog here. I probably should change this to like Monami and streaming, for example, because like the only thing I've published on my Medium is just this. So yeah. But and it got a lot of traction somehow. I have no fucking idea how. But yeah, I'm not really a blog person. And if you go to Monami, it'll reload, but then there's the entire page, the gallery and everything. So essentially, let's just go to my friend's card website, Lev Velcor. She's one of my VTuber friends, and her card is here. So this is an example of a card website. If you're a VTuber fan, you know about this. So it's just a one-page website, just showing everything. So here's what I was thinking, right? And I'm probably not gonna do anything fancy like animations or anything like that. Schedule, okay. I'm just gonna show like the thing, credits. Cool. Okay, so you can see that I'm probably gonna add a credit section in the Monami page. But you can see I already have a full lore page for Monami. And I also already have a full social links page. It looks really nice, right? So this is my, hover button. Okay. So what I was thinking, let's just draw. I usually don't draw things out. I usually just plan them out in my head. make a box. Make a box. And we could say it's like, we could do something like, hi, I'm King Bri or King Bry's links, right? Something simple. So we have the socials already, but we just have the links. And then what we could do is we could just have the lore. And then below, we can have stuff like, you know, Twitch, YouTube. Then we could also do GitHub. We could do Discord, Twitter. And what else? Twitch, YouTube, Discord, Twitter, GitHub. What other link would you guys think is good here? I don't know, like, what else do I have? Let's think about it. I'm not sure. Yeah, it's just, I think I just listed all of the social media I use, I'm not gonna lie. I am genuinely not sure. I guess I'll figure it out. Maybe I can link the medium. Maybe if I make like a TikTok at some point, I could do TikTok instead. Right? That's another possibility. But yeah, so for each button, what we could do, let's just make this button a big rectangle. We could do the logo of the website here, and then we could just have Twitch. That way it'll be in like a, what is it? A 2x3 box, a 2x3 flex box. And so therefore it's responsive, number one, so it'll stretch out to the page. And so basically like my about me code here, you can see that, oh shit, you can't even see it. With my about me code or my about me page, you can see that there's like a big amount of padding here and it's responsive, right? So if let me try shrinking the viewport here. It shrinks down with it. That's how responsive design works. So yeah. But yeah, so that's essentially what it does. And we make buttons like this. And nothing too fancy, right? We could just have like a simple, you know, fade/hover color that looks like this, right? So you hover over this. Oops. You see? So that's all what the hover thing does. Also my Discord. It just redirects you to the Discord invite, but yeah, whatever. So yeah, we could have something that changes the color, like something cool. Like for example, if we get an SVG vector graphic, right? So I'm just gonna make an SVG here. We get an SVG of the Twitch logo, right? So then we just put Twitch here. Then what we do is we can, you know, like it is in here, like you can see how the Twitch logo is white and you hover over it, it becomes purple. We could have, let's change the color on GoodNotes. We could have the button color be purple and the Twitch logo is black or white. So let's just make it black for our sake. And then when you hover, it'll like, you know, fade out a bit. So I'm going to make it black. So we're going to make Twitch. Oops. And this will go, you know, it'll go purple. Kind of like that, right? Like, it looks very nondescript, and then when you hover over it, it changes the colors to something else. So kind of like, I feel like something like this. Like you see this here. So I feel like a simple button animation like that should not be that hard to program in Tailwind CSS. And it should be pretty straightforward to do, in my opinion. I'll also, okay, so let's see how easy it is to make one of these things. What we could do is, what I usually do for these website pages, is just yoink the Monomy page, or some other page, like the Ferrite, the SOB page, let's just, yeah, the SOB page, for example. And I'll just put everything there. Right? Because that's probably the best way to go about it. But yeah, also, if you guys don't know, that birthday from Monomy is the same as my birthday, so just if you guys weren't aware. 1 second. Yeah, had some stuff in my throat. Okay, but yeah. So let me just show you the Yeah, Christmas Eve. Yep, that's my birthday. There's a whole interesting story about that too. I have a lot of stories. So yeah, so in Next.js, every single, URL component is a page. So you can see I have a page for like every app that I've made. I also have a page for Monami, and then like I have the privacy policy pages here, and then all of the like important stuff is separated into components, right? So it's a pretty organized website, like sorta. I mean, I'm not the best web dev, right? I'm not making some fancy ass website. I'm not like, yo, this is my website. It's a spinny graphic. No, I'm not that type of guy. I'm not a web developer by any stretch of the imagination. I'm an iOS app developer. That's my primary thing when it comes to UI. But yeah, that's the overall understanding there. Okay. So let's just, I think, in my opinion, I think we're gonna let's hold off on this card project for now. It's not really something that really needs to be done right away, to be honest with you. But what I could do right now is I want to add a picture to Monami's gallery, which is this picture here. So this guy. So we can add it in. And one thing that and you guys probably weren't here when I did this the first time, but one thing that I've done is where are you? Pages. Where the fuck did in the public Monami. Here we go. So all of Monami's art is located in this area here. So what we need to do is we need to resize the GIF file, and we need to convert it to an APNG because GIF files do not work on the website thing, but APNG files do. I got no fucking idea why. Don't ask me, but it's just how it works. Oh yeah. All right, so I believe in the Photos app in Windows, I can resize this. So I'm gonna do that real quick. You'll just look at the starting GIF for now. But yeah, I publish every single piece of art, and I also need to modify the EXIF data. Let's see, can I modify the EXIF data on this? Oh yeah. It can display a GIF fine. GIFs just don't have EXIF data. That's what makes this difficult. Okay, yeah, I remember now. Let's see. So OBS stuff. Nope, that's not it. OBS. Here we go. Let's get this GIF, and then let's do a resize. I call it GIF actually. I mean, I'm just saying GIF because I'm fucking stupid. But yeah, let's. This is 1920 by 1080. What is the info on this image though? The info on the image that you're seeing on the screen right now. Let me just see. Bro, why are there crickets chirping in the song? It actually makes me think that there are crickets outside. Yeah, there are no crickets outside. There's a fucking air conditioner going. Man, it's also nighttime here, so I'm like, yo, what the fuck is going on, man? What is going on? If you feel me? Oh, Lord. Alright. I'm like, yo, are there crickets outside my house right now? Is it that time of night? Am I up for too long? No, it's only fucking 11 p.m. Alright, sure. Damn it. Fucking life is crazy. Alright. So, public, Monami, art. Lots of art that I've commissioned with my own money. And also people have made of me. Actually, if you guys are in my server, somebody actually gender bent me. Take with that what you will. Okay, I think I'm gonna upload the full image here because it's just 1920 anyways. It's not like 1440 or anything, so... Actually, let me just see the info on the image again. So it says 1440 by 810, so... 1920 by 1080, 1440... Okay, so yeah, I think I did shrink it. The reason I shrink it down is so that it just can't be stolen that easily. Let's do a percentage. Let's resize this to about like 60%. No, 40%. No, 80%. That's good. Okay. Save it as a PNG. I don't think I can. Wait, what? Oh, I can't resize. Okay, so in the Photos app for Windows, let me actually show this. This is so stupid. Wait, what the fuck? So in the Photos app, you can resize by percent, but you can't save it as a GIF file. What the fuck? Wait, what? That makes absolutely no sense. Okay, I'm just gonna go online and find a GIF resizer. What the actual hell was that? Alright, here we go. These random ass web things are so nice, I'm not gonna lie. So let me just... Oh, I'm doing it in the background, by the way. I'm not doing it over here. Just for, so I don't fuck something up. Alright, there we go. Okay, wow, there are a lot of frames in this thing. Wow, I think artists are really good with this. Holy shit. Scale will be 80. Oh, fuck. 80%. Not... Okay. 8... Okay, fuck. Yo, who made this text box? There we go. That's fine. I'm just gonna leave it as is. This site is a crime. Bro, I know, man. Alright, let's let it convert. Sit back and relax for a bit. Should be resizing every frame. I know preview on Mac does it really well. That's why when I stream on my Mac, I usually just do this stuff, because, like, fixes all the issues for me. And then we need to convert this to an APNG, by the way, so we gotta use another website to do that. Oh, God. Yay, there we go. Ah, it's not as smooth. Yeah, no, this is not as smooth. Why is it not as smooth? Okay, yeah, no, I don't trust this site. Actually, you know what? I think I'm gonna... Yeah, I'm gonna save the gallery ad for next week as well, because, like, I don't really trust this website. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, I feel like the best thing to do would just be to chill right now. Just like, oh man, yeah. I mean, I had a lot. There was a lot of stuff that happened today. Holy shit! Like, we talked about the DHH thing. We talked about all of the cybersecurity. Thanks to Alex for talking about it. We could talk about the meta thing a different time. I'm down for a different day again. Pretty fun day. Yeah, it was great. I mean, I don't usually stream Saturdays. I usually stream on Fridays, but I went to, like, a place yesterday. We did karaoke. We ate food, all that good stuff. So yeah, there was a lot of walking around as well. So that's pretty much what happened there. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the night, I guess. I think we're gonna call it there. Again, if you guys do want to check me out on Twitter, feel free to do so. Probably not gonna post too much there anymore. Just focus more on my Discord, because it's probably better to talk there. If you are joining Discord, again, Stream Ping Roll is there. I'm revamping it. We'll make an announcement about it soon. Other than that, there's not much housekeeping I need to do today. Just, again, thank you guys for watching, watching me yap for 2 hours and 12 minutes. Oh, Nep is streaming. Okay, I will raid her then. So let's raid Nep. Nep is a plant horticulture VTuber. And she does swear a lot, so please be aware. Let me just see if it lets me raid her. Yeah, okay, it works. Sweet. Okay. Sounds good. Alright, guys, and yeah, if you guys have a great rest of your day, don't forget to stay hydrated. Saribot, I understand you're being nice, but, like, we're not raiding just yet, buddy. Anyways, guys, next week we talk about sleep. And we'll work on these projects if I feel like it. Otherwise, what we're gonna do is just mess around with some other stuff, And then the week after, we'll see if I might have a collab. I'll just keep an eye on that. Again, keep an eye on my Twitch stream ping on Discord and my Twitter. And that's pretty much it. I'm getting a bit tired, guys, so I'm probably gonna knock it out for the night. So yeah, peace out, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the stream. See ya.